Welcome to our Park City Market Talk webinar for April 2021. I'm Ron Wilstein, a broker at Keller Williams Luxury Properties, and I'm happy to announce that we made it. We made it through the Park City ski season for 2021, and we had COVID protocols, but it really worked out well, and so it's great to be at the end of the season and have the vaccines and be moving forward. Let me share with you what our topics are for today. I want to give you an update on Summit County's vaccinations and then look at the real estate market in Park City, looking at sales and prices, and then finally talk about what you need to know before you sell your property in today's hot market. I'm happy to share with you that Summit County is ahead of schedule when it comes to vaccine distributions. Here's a graph here. Positive cases by weeks, and you can see that we are at a very, very low level here at the far right. 68% of Summit County residences have received at least one vaccination shot, so we're well on our way toward getting things done around here, which is terrific. Happy to see that. This is positive cases, and you can see again the graph here. This graph here is based upon cases per 100,000 people. And this is a 14-day active case per 100,000 people, and it's just all good news. This information I pulled from the summitcountyhealth.org/coronavirus. So we're heading in a good way, and a lot of places in the country are, and even around the globe. So this is good news. As far as Utah is concerned, the statewide mask mandate that's been in effect up to this point to protect everyone ends this Saturday, April 10th, and so that will be new for people. There will, of course, be many people who will continue to wear masks and others who won't, but the mandate ends on Saturday. Now, of course, businesses may continue to require masks and to protect their customers, whether they're restaurants or other shops or what have you. Now let's take a look at the Park City real estate market. Of course, we've reported to you throughout the year that the COVID-19 pandemic has actually created a real estate boom in Park City and many other places as well. Here are the stats. Over the past year, there's been 2,284 sales. This is homes, condominiums, and vacant land. This is all real estate brokerages combined, and that is up by 60% year over year. 857 additional sales. That's just huge. I break it down here into homes, condos, and lots. The red bars represent the period of April 2020 to March 2021, and then the silver bars represent that same 12-month period the year before. With homes, a 61% increase in the number of homes, climbing from 545 all the way to 877. 39% increase among condos, from 755 to 1,046. And then look at this for vacant land. Not that we have a lot of vacant land here, but 184% jump from 127 lots that sold to 361. Just huge. Here we're looking at home sales, and I've broken it into Park City, the Snyderville Basin, Park City in the city limits proper, and Snyderville Basin being in the county area but still part of the Park City School District. We see a 83% increase in the number of sales in the city limits, climbing from 180 to 329, and a 50% increase from the previous 365 sales to 548. Condominiums seeing the same thing, a 49% increase to 508 from 342 in the city limits, and a 30% increase from 413 to 538 condos in the Snyderville Basin. And then lots, 170% increase in the city, up to 54 from the previous 20, and 187% in the Snyderville Basin, up to 307 from 107, 200 additional sales. So what's happening in terms of the number of sales? They are going up, up, up. Let's take a look at prices. This is home medium sold prices, the same time period. Again, Park City and Snyderville Basin broken up. 38% increase median prices year over year. That's huge, climbing from 1,937,500 to 2,682,500. That's 38% increase. 31% increase in the Snyderville Basin. It previously was 1,250,000. Now it's 1,632,500. Condos, we see a 42% price increase in the city limits, from 772,500 to 1,000,001. But we actually see a decrease in the Snyderville Basin, down 16%, from previous medium sold price 665,000 to 556,040. Why is that? Not because of a lack of interest, certainly in the condos in the Snyderville Basin, but a lack of inventory. That which was available to be sold were smaller properties, priced lower, and so statistically the median price drops, but it's not an indication of prices dropping, but rather less expensive properties to be purchased. Here we see land inside the city limits, 26% year over year appreciation, up to 1,355,000 from 1,075,000, and a 32% increase in the Snyderville Basin. Used to be 485,000 was the median price. Now it's 639,000. So again, we see these prices going up, 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 and that's an indicator of the Park City hot real estate market. Prices rose in most cases by double digits, as you saw, and as high as 42% over the previous year's prices. As the snow is melting here in Park City, we move into what is commonly referred to as the mud season. This is when many people think about selling their homes to make a move, and in a hot market like ours, it's time to prepare for selling. This includes getting your property ready in its best possible condition to sell, and learning everything you need to know about the market so that you can get the highest possible price for your property. There's three things that I want to share with you, three things that I believe you need to know that are different selling in today's market compared to how they were typically sold in the past. It's imperative that you understand the market because it's indeed changed, obviously from the stats, but changed in other ways. You need to prepare your property in order to sell for the highest possible price. And then thirdly, you need to negotiate differently. So let's take a look at these three things. Understanding the market is important because things have changed in a big way. Prior to this market, we used to rely upon a comparative market analysis. Now what that is that's an analysis that looks at your specific neighborhood, or if it's a condominium, your particular condominium property, and compares it against what has sold there. While that was adequate in the past, it's not adequate now. It's not adequate because there's not a lot of inventory left to sell, and so the information is limited. And with this limited inventory, it's important to understand what buyers are choosing from with other properties compared to your neighborhood or your condominium. And so for that reason, you need a total market overview analysis. And what we do in a total market overview is we look at what a buyer who would likely choose your property would look at in the overall larger marketplace. What other competition is there? What would they buy if they didn't buy yours? If there's little or no competition, obviously that postures you differently than if you're competing against quite a bit of competition. In today's limited inventory market, that's really important to know and factor into things. Why is it important? Because you negotiate from a position of strength, which will put tens of thousands of dollars more into your pocket, in some instances hundreds of thousands of dollars more. And so it's important to understand what a buyer's choice is when you're negotiating with them. And if you find yourself in a situation with multiple offers, all the more as your agent's trying to negotiate and coordinate with the different buyers and buyers agents out there. Now let's look at the next one. Preparing your property. There are many things you can do to help your property sell faster and for more money. And to help you with this, I provide a free property condition assessment. The purpose of this is in order to give you key information to help you decide how to best prepare your property. After I come and inspect your property, I will share with you the things that you can do so that you can get more money when you sell. This will include things that you should do, consider doing, and maybe you haven't considered. I understand what buyers' objections are and what they're going to hold against you and try to use to make a case to pay you less money. We want to overcome those things. At the same time, you may be thinking of something that you want to do or have always wanted to do. When it comes to selling, it really won't have that great of an impact. So you might as well save you the time and the money. So that's why we do this assessment. The goal is to overcome buyers' objections in advance. We don't want them to throw things in the way of negotiations to try to make a case to pay you less for your money, when your goal, of course, is to make as much money as you possibly can. Now that leads to our third point, and that is negotiations have changed. When it comes to negotiating deals, they have changed in a lot of different ways. In the past, you used to negotiate pretty much in writing. An offer was submitted in writing, and if you wanted to counter, you didn't just convey your counter, you put it in writing, hammered out terms, etc., and you went back and forth, back and forth. That's how it was done in the past, still done by some today, but it's not the best way to do it. Today, it's important that you feel that you get an agent that feels comfortable and is skilled to negotiate verbally. And we're not really trained to do that, but if you've been doing this long enough, you should know how to do this. You need to get key information from a buyer's agent early in negotiations about their buyer. Why? Well, it goes back to that total market overview I mentioned earlier. You need to understand what their choices based upon their interests are. You can assess it the same way their agent has assessed it for them and know what you're really competing against there. If you're not competing against much, it gives you a stronger position in negotiations. If another buyer comes in a multiple offer situation, now you're trying to get that same information weighed against each other, along with terms like price, timing, other things that surface here. The key thing is you need to know how to ask the buyer's agent questions to get this information. And then, of course, you want to assess the likely outcome of all this information, and it does change as the market changes in a very fast-moving market, and then explain it to a seller who maybe isn't as familiar with selling a property because they don't do it that often, and they need to understand how the negotiations is going to go and what the objectives are, because you want to develop a strategy to get your desired outcome, and based upon who you're negotiating with, what their objections are, how they're approaching it, how many buyers there are, all these things come into play. Multiple offers have changed everything, and in order to deal properly with multiple offers, not find yourself in a situation where you've sold your property to more than one person, which of course you can't do since you only have one property. You need the expertise on the part of your agent. You need to know they've had past successes, they've dealt with multiple offers, and they've been very successful in that situation, and that will likely yield an even better outcome. And so that's what's important. When I talk about a better outcome, I'm talking about more money here. So the bottom line is it's imperative to understand the market. You got to know what's going on overall in the market. You got to know what your competition is and what the buyer's competition is. You need to be thoroughly prepared in terms of your property. It needs to look its best in order to get top dollar for you, and you want to employ a highly skilled negotiator because it's imperative and it will really translate into dollars. You know, I'll be honest with you, as realtors, we get paid a lot of money when we sell property. And do you want to know when we earn the money the most? It's during negotiations. Our ability to juggle the details, to interface with agents, and to come out with the outcome is really important. In Park City, about 10% of the agents do 90% of the deals. We've got 1,400 agents. Oh my gosh. You got to be good at negotiating. If we're negotiating with people we've negotiated in the past, which is the case if you're in that category, so of course we are, that helps you a lot. You know their style, you know what information they'll give up, you know what they won't give up. That's the stuff that you need, and being able to Advise your client, the seller, and Interface Property. This is how you pull out the best buyer and the best offer and the best money for your client. And if you have a skilled negotiator, you will be rewarded with thousands of dollars more in this marketplace. No question about it. Let's take a look at our track record. This data is provided from 2020, so this is the pandemic year. We're now in 2021. Our team sold listings for 97.7% of their list price. There are plenty of properties we sold for full price, others less. That is our statistic. The Park City Board of Realtors statistic is 94.5%. That's what the average agent did. So we were able to get our clients 3.2% more money. Let's do the math here. In 2020, the average sold price for homes in Park City and the Snyderville Basin was $2,466,105. Based upon an additional 3.2% of that sold price, that is $78,915 more in your pocket. Let's look at the speed in which we sell properties. In 2020, we sold properties on average of 57 days. Some were record fast, others took longer depending upon the property. Average agent in Park City, 77 days. So we sold 3 weeks faster. That may or may not be important to you, but we're able to sell properties faster for more money. That's what's critical. I want you to meet the team, obviously myself, Jeremy Wilstein, Dean DeLeon. We're all prepared to assist you in any way that we can. We hope that you'll look to us to do so. Thanks for watching our webinar. Be sure to bookmark BuyParkCity.com. Lots of great information there. Have a great day.